Hi, this is Ark. I was in Washington Justice and I excel as support, shot caller, and also now here as a coach for NotKen. I hope my knowledge would help you improve as a player, especially right before Overwatch 2 is coming out. But not only that, I also want to help you have more fun playing Overwatch and have more creative thoughts while you're playing. If you have any questions after this video, feel free to ask me all the time and would help you anytime. My Discord is, like I already told you, so you can contact me anytime with that Discord account, or you can contact with me with Twitter or any other like social media I'm using, or Instagram, something like that. And also thanks for buying my lecture, and I hope you enjoy. Yeah, let's start. First of all, since you wanted to know overall about support, especially main support, I wanted to like point out what was support in my head, and also we're gonna be going on next about Lucio, especially because you sent me Lucio video, and after that probably I will talk about a little bit about your play, and we're gonna look at the video together about what I thought that you could be improved more about. So first of all, like support, yeah, like basic stuff. It's not only for support, but every player need in Overwatch is probably position, skill usage, thinking process. Probably you know like as a positions, yeah, it's kind of like the probably the thing that you know. So for example, uh, like high ground or behind obstacles, something like that. Yeah. So basically for like support only, you should be on the middle of the team all the time, since like let's think this way. So I think tank in the Overwatch is more about the like bones, because they're like kind of like structure of the team. So they're making positions like Winston jump or Diva booster to the high ground or something like that, right? And second, I think DPS are like muscles, so it basically gives more power to your body, so it moves it. For example, let's say that you're playing Tracer and you go there back line, then probably, uh, yeah, it's not only like making spaces, but it's also like letting the team going somewhere else or like make variances. So probably you can say DPS is muscle. So as lost, I think support is like the blood. So basically, you should be circulating inside the body, not outside the body. For example, like if blood goes up the body, then you die, right? Same as that. I think support should be always in the middle of the team, especially in the fight. Like for example, let's say that you're not in the fight. You're playing in the body defense first point. Yeah, if you're playing Ana, you can play a little bit far back or something like that. But when everything starts, let's say that they have Tracer or Winston and they're like flanking behind or somewhere, you should be joining the team again, right? So basically, it is same concept that you should be always in the safe place, middle of the team, where you can get help from your team, right? So this is kind of like the first concept in positions. Second one is probably about thinking enemies comp. For example, like let's say that they're playing that like Wizard Tracer, like I told you before, right? Probably they'll be flanking somewhere. Then you should be in the team, like I told you. But let's say that they're playing Reinhardt or Jaria or something like that, like rush comp. Oh yeah, you can play high ground, fall back behind. It doesn't matter because you can always help the team. You can always make variances in the high grounds, and also enemies cannot come to you, right? So that's kind of like the things that concept in thinking enemies comp. But I think this is kind of like a little bit hard concept, so you can just keep it out for a moment until you can get something easy, like basic stuff first, and then you can go on and on and on. Like if you have, it's kind of like I think it's the playing game, like playing Overwatch. It's kind of like the computer itself. For example, like if your hardware get better, then there's more room for software too. So basically, if your mechanical skills and stuff like that doesn't like really use your brain power, probably you can have more room for yourself thinking about enemies comp, your comp, what you have to do, like something like that. So thinking about teams is kind of like the, so for example, let's say that your play is playing Ryan Jarya, then you should rush together even though you're playing Ana sometimes, right? Let's say that they're playing Mr. Tracer, you're playing Ryan Jarya. Yeah, you should go together, right? That's kind of like same concept, but it's more complicated because not only thinking about NA's comp, not only thinking about middle of the team, you should also think about the team comps. So I think this is kind of like a hard mode things. So I think you can skip it for now, but you can think about it later, like when you have much space. Yeah. And next one, oh yeah, I made wrong spelling. Yeah, skill usage. So skill usage is more about yeah, it's kind of it's the thing too. So it's like about like shift E alt, like but I think it's for the players that in the lower tier. I think many players kind of overuse skill. So probably like 90% player should save their skills sometimes, like not like using every cooldown. And I think in this part actually you're doing quite well, but I just wanted to make sure that you also re know it so that you don't forget it. Okay, so and thinking process is same as like the one I told you in the positions part, like second concept, thinking enemies comp, same as that. So for example, let's say that they have McCree, Pharah, Hanzo, Widow. Yeah, you should play with obstacles. Like if they have Genji, Winston, and then maybe you should be having more far position from enemy's team and trying to be with the team, like to get help on all the time when you're get jumped or when Genji is using dash, something like that. So it's more about how you should think inside the game while you're playing. So it's not like sometimes people say their brain is off when they're playing. So thinking process is more about making your brain on all the time. I think this is like this three concept is like a basic things that actually helps you for you to get used to the game, and from there you can step it up, like thinking more and using skill bladder. Yeah, I mean it's kind of basic, but I just wanted to point it out before we go in. So I want to talk about Lucio more because you played Lucio. I think the like everyone knows, like Lucio's positive points is very 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 basic for everyone. Everyone knows it, but I think they kind of have hard time using the positive points, especially in the comp games. Because if you go into the team game, you always shot call and you always communicate with every teammate so that you can make a perfect timing. And also they know how to use the Lucio. But the problem starts when you play comp game, because I don't know if you shot call or not. Actually, Lucio, when you play Lucio, shot call is really really important because of the speed amp especially, and also the ult or the timing or like anything else. So if you play Lucio, I actually hardly recommend to do the shot call. So I like not shot call. Even if you don't shot call, I hope you use mic at least. So let's start from like pointing out the positive points. Of course, tempo. So because you have amp, and the speed, so you can always try to back up the team or go rush into their team anytime you want. And also this is the part that the reason that I mentioned about the mic. Because let's say that you're amping up, speed amping, and you're not talking. And let's say that Reinhardt don't know anything. Maybe Jarya used the skill, maybe Reinhardt already used the shield too much so that she cannot rush. There's some like circumstances that tanks or DPS cannot rush. So your job is to know what's happening around you and make sure you call the perfect timing for rush and use the speed amp. So this is the first positive point about Lucio. Second is ult. Lucio's ult, Sunbearer is really good at countering ult, and also it's really easy to use, I would say. But I think this was actually this is kind of spoiler, but I think this was the part that you actually lack of a lot. So we're gonna talk about this later when I'm talking about you particularly playing Lucio. Okay. Third one is about right click. So right click is really good about countering their tempo, I would say. For example, let's say that their Winston is diving, you can just boop it out, or if Genji's coming, you can just boop it. So it's kind of like more about protecting your team from getting Barons, like from Barons play from their team. And I think in this part, actually, you're playing quite well. Sometimes, unless you miss it, I think you know how to use it and why you're using it sometimes. So I'll say every boop, I think like for you, like 60% of the boop had a reason that you used it, why you used it. For example, to make their position like breaking or helping your teammate or something like that, right? So you try to use like in because of the reason. I think that's the good part when I saw your play. Last one is about position. So position is about boop. Position is about like taking high grounds. Like I told you like before, like playing middle of the team, not like getting too much like excited and go over the teammates or something like that. I think this is the part that actually many support player, Lucio player especially, make a mistake. But I think you're kind of like in the like middle. I would say like you don't do like inting too much, but sometimes you do it. So, but as you know, support making mistake is really critical. So, yeah, I think you can be just a little bit more aware. Then it'll be good. So let's talk about you. So actually, I was quite surprised about your mechanical skills. I think you said that you're kind of worried about your projectile aim or mechanical skills when you play Lucio, but actually about mechanical skills, I think many parts you're doing quite well. But I think about your left click, maybe you can use it better. But I would recommend you to put more your brain power into using skills better, using ult better, and taking positions. Because I think for now, like some parts, actually, I thought that your mechanical skills are perfect. Like your left click or like your right click usage, and after that you know right click, left click, like something like that. Your mechanical skill was quite good. And your wall riding wasn't too bad. I think there's room to improve, but still for like diamond level, it was really good. So I don't want to talk about lots about mechanical skill, but I want to talk about position, skill usage, and ult more in today's lesson. So let's start. So this is like there's three parts that I want to talk about. Like I told you, position, skill usage, and ult. First, positions. I think even though Lucio has almost the best movement skills inside the game because of the wall ride, sometimes I think, like I told you, sometimes you go too much, or sometimes, like when there's a high ground, I think you should take it sometimes, but you kind of give it up, and they push up, and they use it like too much positively, and you guys lose. Like, so it's more about taking high ground in position part, because I think about like inting part, I think you can just aware it and try not to do it too much. Like for example, let's say that you die by inting, then you can like aware it afterward, and then I kind of over excited. I went too much, and then next time you try not to do it. I think that level is fine. Just try to like keep it in your mind. Try not to do it again, and I think that's fine with that one. But about taking high ground, it's more about, I think you don't know the concept well, is probably the right thing. I think about the high ground, I'll say you don't have to take it, because you're Lucio, you don't have like much value even if you have the high ground. But the important part is making enemy cannot take the high ground is the most important part for Lucio. So using the wall ride and the boop, try to boop them out when they take a high ground would be the proper word, I would say. Second one about skill usage, I think like I told you, you like using the right click or booping the team enemy team was not too bad, was actually quite good, I would say. but sometimes you misses it. So yeah, I mean, still it's fine because you cannot hit it 100% even if you're like 4.5k player. And I think more the part that I want to talk about more was about using the amp. So I think when you guys when you start the fight with certain ult, for example Hansu's ult or Reinhardt ult or your ult sometimes using the amp, then probably that's the timing that you use the amp the most well, because that's because uh before the fight there's like no reason for your team to use the skill. Everyone has the skill. You guys start the fight with the amp, then probably everyone can help you because they have skills, right? For example, Reinhardt has a shield, so she can move up, and Zarya has bubble, so she can also help Reinhardt, and she can move up too, right? But the problem starts when you guys are inside the fight. So for example, let's say that you guys are fighting and you have an amp, and if you look around, like left side, right side, Zarya used the bubble, Reinhardt used the shield, then you should not use the amp, right? Because they cannot move up even if you amp. But sometimes you amp. So this is more about not like you're using amp in the wrong timing, but I think it's more about your awareness about the circumstances kind of lack when you're playing using the amp, I would say. So try to look around the team, if for especially things if they have the skills or not, and then you can move up. For example, let's say that you're using mic, right? Let's say that you saw Zarya using the bubbles. You can say, Zarya, try not to use the next bubble and tell me when you have it. Let's say that Zarya has, I have bubble. Then you can use, I'm gonna use amp. Let's move up, okay? That's kind of like the perfect way to get a tempo, I would say, because everyone can help you. We're gonna look at examples too after this. So we're gonna talk about more when you're watching the videos, okay? And lastly, ult. So this is the problem. The problem is that I think Lucio's ult is quite easy to use when you're using defensively. You can just see them using ult. For example, they're using right shadow. Okay, I use it. Okay. Or if they're using gyro, okay, I use it. Right? Really easy. But when you're playing Lucio aggressively with the ult, then sometimes I think that's the timing that it gets hard. So the reason it gets hard is because it also connects to the problem that I told you right before, which is using the speed amp. Because if you take the tempo without using Lucio's ult, and if your team's tanks doesn't have any skills, there's no way that tanks can speed up in the right timing, even if you use ult, right? So, and also it's hard to make a damage too, because the key point of the Lucio ult is everyone having using their skills in the right timing and move up together to make a variance is probably the best way. Actually, there's a fight that you actually used it really well. We're gonna look at that first, and then we're gonna look at the bad examples afterwards. Okay, so the key point was about positions. You don't have to take the high ground, but make sure that enemies don't have it. Second, skill usage. Boop was good. Just be aware when you're using the speed amp to try to know if your tanks have skills or not, okay? And lastly, about the ult, if you're using it defensively, that's kind of easy, so try to get used to it. And about about using aggressively, you can connect more to the speed amp thing. So you should also check the tanks, like tank skill, if they have it or not, okay? We're gonna look at the video now. So, oops. Wait a second. No sound. So, So we're gonna look at good example of your ult first, and we're gonna talk about ult first because I think this kinda connects to the amp thing, so we can talk about it more, okay? First of all, this was the good example when you're using your speed amp and ult, you know? So if you look at tanks, Reinhardt shield is quite low, but if you look at Zarya, Zarya has giving bubble, right? Now, you use the speed amp, Reaper is pushing out with the bubble, and at the same time, you guys are pushing out with speed amp, right? And if you look at it, because Reaper has the bubble, Reaper take lots of attention, right? And no one can help Reinhardt because of it, and you guys push it out with the beat, and you guys got the tempo. So this is the perfect example that you played really well. But we're gonna look at bad examples actually, and we're gonna talk about it, okay? Because if you look at bad example, then yeah, that means that you have rooms to improve. Okay, let's look at this example. So if you look at it, Zarya is backing out now because she used the skills. And yeah, there's only like 4 people, 2 people. Is beat necessary even though you guys are winning? I don't think so because here is 4v2 and Zarya is gonna be probably alive. Even though not, then probably others can help, so it's gonna be fine, right? But if you look at it, you beat. I think this is too much. Oh, actually, in here, your mechanical skill was really good. I was confused, right? So look at it here. So here, yeah, you're almost hitting all the left click, and then at the same time, you move away and kill, right? I think this was really good, but beat was unnecessary, right? Next example was 830. I think this was probably the worst part. I think others was maybe there's some room that you played really well. But if you look at here, now Winston is backing up, right? Winston just used the jump after the ult, right? But what happening is you beat, right? Let's look at Winston. Winston didn't have jump, right? There's no way that he can do something, right? If you look here, there's only one hug here. If he wants to make barriers, at least he should jump to the soldier, right? But he cannot because he doesn't have jump. Even though you use the amp, there's no way that he can do it. So what happening is, yeah, nothing happened. Even though you used the beat. It kind of compare from what you use, how you used in the first example I showed you, right? You use the skill, tanks use the skill, they push out and they kill, right? And this also becomes problem more when you guys are playing Winston, because if Winston doesn't have jump, there's no way he can make a barriers, right? But right now, maybe, yeah, if you amp, right? Same with that. Yeah, and this was the part actually I thought you kind of overextended, but yeah, I think like yeah, sometimes Lucio ain't, so I can say this is like just be aware that I don't go too much when I'm playing Lucio, you know. I think about making barriers with the Lucio is about more after like Grandmaster players, I'll say. I think that's kind of like the part that you should be more thinking about those parts. This is next example. And if you look at here, let's think about why you... It was more about saving, right? But I think this was actually unnecessary because if you look at the cart, you guys are here. And Anna cannot help you guys, right? And they already got the position. And I think you could have just saved it for the next fight, I'll say. even if you guys beat, probably this is losing fight because he's 6v4, right? So this was just like not about like tempo ult or something like that. It was saving ult, but still I thought that you could use it better. Like, yeah, just And we're gonna look at the defensive ult that you used in Chicago, which was the last fight. So they have another Viner, but they didn't use another Viner, surprisingly. And they Viner? Oh, yeah! This was the part that I was talking about. It was really easy to it is really good control, so I think actually in most of the part what I thought was you kinda use your ult like Nano. So I think if they have like Jarya or Reinhardt, I think you can just try to counter their ult by ult checking only those two. And if they have like other characters like D.Va, Winston, maybe you can just use it for tempo sometimes, use it for counter dive or like any way you want. But I think if you use your sound barrier more for gravity or shatter, I thought that would be better. That's probably for ult. And about the skill usage, I hope that it also like helped you understand about the amp at least. And next would be probably about the boop, right? Yeah, and taking high grounds. So the parts that I thought it could be better was here. So D.Va is taking high ground, and their soldiers also taking high ground, and this position is kinda like can break the turret, can also pressure Ana and kind of stuff, right? So Genji knows it and Genji comes, but they're not pushing at him. So Genji got naded, Genji fall back, and now they broke the turret and they're gonna push him in, right? And also McCree got the high ground. Genji is still going for it, and Torb is also going for it. He almost got a kill too, right? But if you look at your position, you're helping Jarya. Yeah, it's also necessary that you help the Jarya, but it's more about Jarya's over position. I think if you also went here, you probably kill McCree and Soldier together with the Torb and Genji. Will make more barriers, right? So, like I told you, let's say that they're just pushing from main. You don't have to take a high ground, you can just help the team. But let's say that they're taking the high ground with the McCree, Soldier, Zenyatta, or D.Va or something like that. Probably, when your team is trying to retake, I think you should help it. So, yeah. Torb actually solo killed the McCree, and Soldier is almost dead. Let's say that even if your Jarya died, you guys are up 1, so probably gonna win, right? And they push out, and you guys die, they nano, and fight dance, right? So, not only here, but also in the second point, if you look at the McCree and Soldier position, they try to keep taking high grounds, and also Winston keeps going it, but yeah, he doesn't get emerald, right? And also you guys have Reaper, so there's 3 people who can go high ground, except for Hanzo. Maybe Hanzo can just stay behind, so. So probably about position things, I think this was the most critical part. Especially when you guys are defend, when they're taking high ground, I think you guys should counter it. Yeah, I think those are probably the stuff that I want to talk about. So that's why I thought that you played third point not that, like, because of that. Because first point and second point, there's lots of high grounds that you should retake and you should take. But in the third point, there's not much things like that, so that's why people use Ryan and Jarya many times, or Warthog in this point. And this was the part that actually you played the best. Because there's no high ground retake. Of course there's a high ground here, but here's not like necessary point, right? There's usually the fight starts from here, like here, right? So yeah, and also this is the part actually where Lucio loses his power, because I think Lucio's power, like I told you, comes from countering enemy, using tempo, and also last part was positions. You know, like taking high grounds, like enemy stop enemy from taking high grounds, right? So that's why people in the like in competition like Overwatch League or Overwatch contenders, people use like Ana Geniala Baptiste here or Brick sometimes here. The reason they use it some characters like that, except for Lucio, is this. If they use Lucio, that's probably mostly because of the tempo, right? Like for example, let's say the enemy's using Ranjara and you're using Ranjara. Yeah, well, of course, right? Like Lucio is usable, but let's say that they're playing Hawk, or Reinhardt, uh, like Diva or like Sigma, something like that, Orisa. Then probably Zenyatta or like Baptiste can be also the good choice. So make sure you can just take it in mind. I think that's all for today. And like, if you need any more knowledge about anything else, or if you have any questions about anything else, just feel free to ask, like to the Discord or something like that. I can just back it up for you. Like I can give more information or help you from having information that the part you want to know. Like if you think this wasn't enough, then I can just give more. So just feel free to contact. Like don't have any pressure, I'll say. And I hope you have enjoyed. Like, and yeah, that's all. Thanks for buying my lecture again, and hope you enjoy.